Hey guys, KallTorak here. Today, I'm bringing you my Magma Barrier Shield Charge Chronomancer. I love Magma Barrier. I think my 0.1 Magma Barrier builds were my most successful of the last patch. Also, I love Shield Charge so much last patch that I made 3 different Shield Charge builds. So, this specific build I've wanted to do for a while. Every time I've tried it though, I've ran into game-breaking bugs. Chronomancer was bugged with Shield Charge in the last patch. Then, a few weeks ago, I tried this build again, but my PC kept crashing because of Trample Toe. The big explosions were just straight up bricking my PC. I gave up again on the build until a viewer told me to try turning off reverb. Since then, I haven't crashed once, so let's get into it. I don't think I need to explain why I enjoy Chronomancer so much. The theme of the Ascendancy is so cool, and the time aspects work insanely well with Shield Charge. Now and again makes it to where you have a 33% chance to not consume a cooldown when you use it. This pairs well with Shield Charge when mapping, letting you spam it pretty consistently. When paired with Magma Barrier, you'll find that your mobility when mapping is so much better than normally when using Shield Charge. You'll start your windup for Shield Charge. More than likely, you will get hit during that initial windup, so Magma Barrier will proc, which will clear the entire screen for you so you can use Shield Charge all the way through. Oftentimes, there will be enemies you can connect with on the other side of this Shield Charge, leading to Shield Charge clearing the screen twice as much as it would have before. Now and again isn't just good for Shield Charge, but it's also good for another Chronomancer ability, Time Freeze. When combined with Time Snap, you will find yourself perma-freezing bosses before they can even attack you once. Add on that Shield Charge constantly interrupts the enemy's attacks, and you can really perma-lock bosses. On Pinnacle content, with constant interrupts, most bosses never get an attack off on you. It's incredibly safe, fun, and powerful melee build, but still utilizing the fun of Chronomancer. If you are new here, I love making fun builds, so please like and subscribe. The next build I will be making is a Reflect Roa Huntress, so stay tuned for that. Alright, let's jump into the details. Alright, I'm trying to get through this one. My voice is a little bit hoarse right now. You might hear me wheeze and breathe weird a couple times. I'm just trying to get through that. So yeah, this is a build I've been excited about for a while. I tried doing it at 0.1, but a bug was preventing it from working with Chronomancer with Shield Charge. That got fixed in 0.2, but when I was trying to do it again, my PC kept crashing because of Trample Toe and its multi-screen clearing explosions. I was having the same problem with Herald of Ice on some builds. And I gave up on the build. I actually made a community post about it a couple weeks ago. And then someone commented to try turning off reverb. And I finally got around to revisiting the build and turning off reverb. And yeah, it works. So if you go to your settings, you can turn off reverb here. And if you're having the crashes that I was having, it's literally just shutting off my PC. Fully bricking it. It ruined 3 streams in a row. It's why I haven't streamed in a while, because I just got tilted about it. But yeah, try turning off reverb. And, yeah, that helped for me. So why Shield Charge and Chronomancer? It is because you have Shield Charge with a cooldown. But whoa, I didn't actually get a cooldown there. That is because of Now and Again. Skulls have a chance to not consume a cooldown when used, so it just allows you to just kind of spam Shield Charge a lot more than you would normally get to. And even in moments where you don't get the cooldown reset, you have Time Snap to be able to reset it for you anyways. And if you've watched my channel for a while, I love Reflect builds, and one of my most popular builds, actually my most popular build from 0.1 that kind of exploded my channel for me, was my 1.5 million damage Magma Barrier build. So I do love Magma Barrier, and one of my complaints about Magma Barrier in 0.1 was it didn't work with Shield Charge. It says when you raise your shield and fuse it with Magma Barrier, and you raise your shield when you Shield Charge, but it wasn't working in 0.1. GGG Hot fixed it to where now it does. So when you do Shield Charge, you see that red infusion happen. And you see it in the clips a lot, that a lot of times in mapping, especially when density, you're getting hit so often that you're more than likely going to get hit in this initial windup, and it's going to cause the Magma Barrier to burst forward. The chain explosions from Trample Toe will clear that entire screen, and you will still just keep smoothing, sailing, which is super smooth. Now, of course, one of the downsides for Chronomancer is the lack of damage. I mean, you have to path all the way from over here to get through here just to start getting the goods. We have to, pass on, stuff like Bestial Rage, Pharaoh Force. We're really limited in how hard we can scale our damage, which obviously is going to be a downside for Chronomancers. Titan, they start over here, plus they get something like Hulking Form, which is just straight up boost their damage, right? Warbringer, you know, gives you the easier block, right? It's where you can just force a high armor shield with like no additional block on it. Chronomancer has a lot of downsides with that. How do we make up for that? Well, Time Freeze is one of those great things. Yes, we're not one-shotting bosses as easily as other builds can, though if you do like the Nebelong weapon swap, which I'm avoiding, it's boring. But you probably could if you had better gear. But we're still able to kill bosses in about 30 seconds, and in that time, we are insanely safe. Shield Charge is constantly stunning the bosses, and then because you have Time Freeze, you can use Time Freeze, and just like that, yeah, that first cast I didn't use, it did not use this cooldown, and then right there, I was able to get, what, 4 casts of Time Freeze off there. So, like, when RNG is in your favor, when you mix in all of the Shield Charge stuns on the boss, you are really just chain locking bosses. It is super fun. It is one of the more fun builds I've played, and is really everything I wanted from this build. It is super fun. On bossing, of course, it's harder to time the Magma Barrier when you're just, like, getting your rotation in, but it's super fun. And then with all the setup, it's just, like, it's really enjoyable play style. You get your rage from multiple sources, but mainly right now I'm doing it from Solar Orb. You put out the Flame ability. You want to break the armor with Regenerating Shield. Then you Infernal Cry, Shield Charge. Then you're going to Time Freeze. You do it again. And since my Time Freeze didn't consume its cooldown there, I just set the combo again, do all that setup, Shield Charge, Time Freeze again. This time it didn't. Reset the cooldown, boom. And then in that combination, when you get that good RNG setup, you are doing like a tier 3 Jet's entire health in 30 seconds, and he hits you 0 times during that time. Because it's not just the Time Freeze. Again, Shield Charge is constantly interrupting the boss's attacks with the stun knockback thing. So it's just such an enjoyable play style. And then for bot mapping, you really are just spamming Shield Charge. I mean, look right this. Like, there's 2 casts in a row. Use the reset there. Like, right there, that was, what, 5 Shield Charges. Look how fast you can go. 6, 7. I mean, come on, guys. Come on. Like, and during this time, more than likely, like, so a lot of times the Shield Charge builds, when you use it, you hit the wall right there and it goes boom, and like it instantly kills the mob. But because of Magma Barrier, will oftentimes trigger because there's just such density in high maps that it's just such a fun play style. So sorry about that big introduction, but I really wanted to get into the play style and why. Like, I've really been trying to make this Shield Charge Chronomancer work because it's just it's not just the theme of being a Time Lord, it really pairs well with the Shield Charge playstyle. Diving into the skill gems right now. Right now in Time Freeze, at Time Stop I have nothing. I don't know what I should put in there, like in any of this stuff, to be honest. In Time Freeze right now, I put Persistence and Ingenuity. At one point, I had Infernal Cry with Ingenuity, but now I'm doing Corrupting Cry to just try Ingenuity into Time Freeze. For those, because I was farming Breach Boss, Jet, and there was like 1 or 2 runs out of like the 20 I did where I had really bad RNG on resetting Time Freeze, and this just felt better in those runs, but you could put that in Infernal Cry. It's not needed here. For Shield Charge, again, you want a high armor shield. Mine's only 1,000 armor. I do have a high block chance shield. Again, that's because I'm having the path over here from Chronomancer. When you start over here as a Titan, Warbringer, or whatever, you don't have to invest so much into block. So you can have a low block chance shield with a high armor base. For me, I needed a high block chance shield with also a high armor base. And I'm broke on a budget. So this was the best I could get. If you're playing a different Ascendancy, obviously you wouldn't need a high block shield, but if you want to play Chronomancer, you're going to want to find a high block shield, so you're just surviving more. It also scales your damage with Lay Siege and Offensive Stance, but it's just also for the survivability. If you wanted to just go for a 1400 armor shield with a lower block chance, you could obviously like get block chance jewels. And you could also try pathing over here to Glancing Blows. I don't know if I would like that, though. I would probably go Block Chance Jewels. And then there's a couple Block Chance nodes you can get in this area. Right here, Unstoppable Barrier. You can get Vigilance. You can also get Defender's Resolve. I'm also not using Block Chance Jewels right now. So there are a lot of ways you can increase your Block Chance if you don't have a high Block Chance shield, but I went with a high Block Chance shield with a high armor base. But because shield charge scales off of your armor on your shield, you want a high armor shield. If you notice your shield charge isn't doing a lot of damage, it either means you're messing up the combo or you don't have enough armor on your shield. And mine's only 1,000. This goes up to 1,400, so it's actually almost 1,100. So we'll call it 1,100 just to be in the middle. So yeah, that's shield charge. And shield charge, I got Rage Forge, Concentrated Effect, Execute, Exploit Weakness, and Close Combat. Exploit Weakness is very important. Again, you want to always make sure, and with the current setup I have, even on tier 3 Jet, I'm fully breaking his armor with 1 Resonating Shield. So a Resonating Shield wants to break that armor, and you want to make sure you always break armor before shield charging. It is a massive damage increase. And because we're playing the deepest tower setup, we're using low life. We're using low life stuff. Let me get a drink, sorry. So yeah, this is the shield charge setup. Resonating Shield, I have Demolisher, Splinter, Break Posture, Rage, and Physical Mastery. I'm trying to figure out where to put more Rage gain in. Right now, Solar Orb is the main Rage gain. I don't know how else I want to gain Rage at the moment. Right now, I'm just putting it in Resonating Shield. In Infernal Cry, I have Premeditation, Raging Cry, Enraged Cry, Tireless, and Corrupting Cry. Corrupting Cry, it's not very good. I was running Ingenuing before, and I might run Ingenuing back because there are awkward moments where I'm sitting there for like a second waiting for Infernal Cry. So I might be swapping that back. In Magma Barrier, I have Magnified Effect, Fire Infusion, Fire Penetration, Fire Exposure, and Fire Mastery. You don't really need Magnified Effect if you only want to run a 4-link here. You really just want Fire Infusion, Fire Penetration, Fire Exposure, and Fire Mastery just to get its damage as much as possible. I've got over 100k damage. Magma Barrier is okay on Pinnacle content. You're spamming shield charge so much with the time freeze that you're not really getting opportunities to get hit. I killed tier 3 Jets without getting hit often. I'll get lucky to get like 1 to 2 Magma Barrier procs off during that time, right? Magma Barrier is mainly for mapping. It's to just get that initial burst off like I was talking about at the beginning. To where you can not, like your shield charge is not colliding with something. It clears the screen for you with Trample Toe, so you just sail on through. That's the main reason we're doing it, so that's why we have Magnified Effect, just to make sure it's going as far as possible to make sure it gets that initial kill on some white mob to cause that chain explosion with Trample Toe. Time of Need, you could use Overwhelming Presence instead. I'm just going with Time of Need, Fast Forward, Vitality, Cannibalism. Solar Orb, again, it's the main rage source for bossing. You just want to sit in it, and yeah, it's also exposure and more damage. And then Inflammability, Heightened Curse, and Ritualistic Curse. We are doing a decent amount of fire damage. It's not the biggest deal, but because of Infernal Cry, yeah. And again, I want to just go over the rotation once more. It is like you want to make sure you start the boss with your rage as much as possible, and you want to be keeping Solar Orb down. You want to make sure flammability is on the boss as much as possible, and it is just as simply break the armor. You want to always break the armor first because you don't want to Infernal Cry your Resonating Shield. So break the armor, Infernal Cry. At this point, you probably want to time stop and then shield charge. And then if you have time stop up again, you break the armor, Infernal Cry, time stop, shield charge. At this point, you're probably going to have to re-Solar Orb, Flammability, break the armor, Infernal Cry, shield charge, reset, time stop. It's just something like that. It gets a little bit... you have to get used to the rotation because whether or not time freeze or shield charge or Infernal Cry's cooldown gets reset for you, it might slow down the combination. But generally speaking, you just want to make sure you always break their armor, and then you Infernal Cry before you shield charge. That is how you maximize your damage. And of course, you want to try and have 10 Rage too, because we are using Rage Forge, which is we are consuming 10 Rage if possible to deal 35% more damage. So having that Rage, it's like you'll see sometimes on Jets, I'll hit him and his life will go down like this little bitty amount. And then sometimes it'll go down like this much, right? And that's because there was something missing in the engine there due to bad cooldown timings or just like, not enough damage being done or whatever. But you get the point. Going into the gear, two-handed mace, you want +7 melee skills. This is for both shield charge and magma barrier. And then you want increased elemental damage with attacks. This is for magma barrier. Nothing else matters for this build. Magma Barrier's damage doesn't scale off of your weapons damage, and Shield Charge's damage doesn't scale off of your weapons damage. This is just, again, a stat stick where you want the strength. Doesn't matter as the damage or anything. It doesn't matter attack speed. It's increase elemental damage with attacks, and then you want strength and melee skills +7. This is just to get Magma Barrier as high as possible. As you can see here, my Shield Charge is level 31. My Magma Barrier is level 35. Deepest Tower. I tried avoiding Deepest Tower in this build. I was actually trying to use Onslaught for a while. I really wanted to use, not Onslaught, what's the Onslaught helmet called? Let me get it out of my stash. I was trying to use it. I wanted to make it work so bad. But just because we're Chronomancer, it just barely didn't work. Thrill Steel. I was trying really hard to make this helmet work. But because we're just like, if we were Warbringer or Titan, that could have worked. But the distance we're having to go, and like no survivability really, no damage from the Ascendancy. Deepest Tower made up for a lot of our damage. Obviously, low life builds are really popular right now. I've done a few of them myself. They're just super versatile. They make up for a lot of damage lost, and yeah, Deepest Tower, it just makes sense. Again, I already talked about the shield. I have a high block chance shield. You can choose between high block chance or going for a higher armor base. But again, your shield charges damage. It matters way more based off of the armor. Now, if you don't have a high block chance shield like I do, you're going to have to invest a lot more passives and jewels into block chance. So that's something you're going to have to cross when you get to it. I have a really nice combination of a shield with high armor where I'm like able to handle TO3 Zest pretty quickly, with also a high block chance. But you might get better success with a 1400 armor shield with a lower block chance. I'm not sure. Polymathy allocated just for easier stats. Probably not needed. And then +3 melee skills on the necklace, strength. This is just a amulet I had in my chest, max life. This is not a good amulet at all. I'm really broke right now because I took the break for PoE 1 and stuff, so I would not overthink this. I probably don't even need Polymathy anymore. I needed this earlier on when I was struggling to stat stack, but I think my gear might be better now that I don't need it. But if you're struggling to stack, Polymathy is great. Warrior Invictus, more tributes, max life, elemental res, really great combination for this build. On my rings, I just got the stats I needed to wear all of my gear, and then the resistances I needed. As you can see here, this gear is not that great. It's just got high res rolls that I've collected over the season. Using Ingenuity Belt to help get my reses up. As you can see here, I'm just barely over Cold and Lightning, but my fire is pretty high up there. I forgot I had the Ingenuity Belt with +121 fire res. It's been a while since I played this character and looked at his gear, because I made this character before PoE 1 came out, and then I ran into Stream Cache and I got sad, and now I've been playing him the last 2 days, and yeah. Melee skills on the gloves, max life. Again, it's just really about survivability. I'm sitting here at 3,600 life right now. And of course, Trampletro, it's how we're getting the big screen wide clears. Yeah. Let's look at the passive tree here. Again, I've showed it plenty, though, but we path through here. It's really just getting down here to get to the low life nodes and all the block chance. This is a pretty standard setup for these warrior-type builds. We're just stretched a little thin because we're the Chronomancer. Starting with the Ascendancy, let's go with Time Snap. It's the cooldown reset, and then now and again, it's the main reason we're playing this Ascendancy. None of this stuff really matters for this build. Recoup, we're not doing a recoup build. We just don't have the points because we're so spread thin. So it's really just about the time freeze, and as you've seen from Tier 3 Jets, it is very powerful. Pathing down here, depending on what kind of shield you have, will determine how much block chance you need. I only needed these 2 points here to be able to reach block cap. Path over here for Lay Siege, get all of the low life nodes. Blade Catcher is great even if you don't have a super high armor. I am only at, where's my armor at right now? 3,600, and yeah, I mean, it just helps you live. Getting as strength as possible, it's just more max life. And then, of course, we have Titanic and Brute Strength. Finality for the more low life stuff. Grand Spectrum Ruby. I have 3 of them just to increase my max life. Again, depending on your setup, you might be needing block chance jewels and stuff.
This is increasing my life by about like 600, 500 right now. So it's nice, but the Great Spectrums aren't needed. I also have a +3 presumably from Magma Barrier, by the way. They're really cheap. Snag one. Unbending for more max life, resolute technique, so we don't have to worry about accuracy. Giant's Blood, so we can use the two-handed mace for the +7 melee skills. Blood magic, so yep, we're just like all of our damage, like you don't have to worry about mana ever. Shield charge can get pretty annoying on its mana cost. And then yeah, offensive stance and all the extra block stuff here. It's pretty straightforward build. I mean, from the passives, don't have much flexibility here when we're stretched so thin. I really tried a lot of setups. I even tried an Avatar of Fire setup at one point. I was trying to do Ignite and stuff, but just because it could have worked on Smith maybe. But because we're Chronomancer, we're just coming from over here. It just, with the budget I had at least, I wasn't able to make it work. But this build's working great. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I promise, this is a build I will play a lot. Like, it might be a build I play every single patch. I just love it so much. It's like the fantasy of it's so cool. I've been chasing it since 0.1, and when I finally got to execute it with Trample Toe, it feels great. And I'm sure with more styles over time, it'll get even cooler. But yeah, let me know what you think about the build in the comments. And that's the build. Really happy with the state of this build, and I see me revisiting Shield Charge Chronomancer for many patches to come. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. Apologies to Darth microtransaction, we once again ran out of time. Take care, boys. See ya in the next one.